PNC Park may be the most beautiful in all of baseball. And an afternoon game under the watchful eye of Roberto Clemente. The Marlins and the Pirates finish off a three-game set. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. It's been all Pirates in this one. This team is on a nice run right now. They've won 5 in a row.
You know, you always get a little leery when you come in to play a team who's coming off a hot series. And the Pirates had that hot series against the Mets. They've continued it with pitching and with clutch hitting, too.
With 3 starters on the disabled list, 4 if you count Jose Fernandez, the Marlins are in a bullpen situation. Brad Hand has started in his career. He's not stretched out right now, Tommy Hunt. He's going to need help behind him. What do you see from Hand today?
Well, I guess to pull a term from the Pirates, all hands on deck today because there will be a full bullpen. Last time Brad Hand started was last September against the Phillies. Been in 14 games this year, but all out of the bullpen. I would imagine Dan Jennings would be pleased with 5 solid innings.
The Marlins are in. I know if you want a Captain Jack Sparrow on the staff, it's probably A.J. Burnett, but this guy ain't far behind. Garrett Cole is a power arm.
He is only 24. If you go back to last September, his last 17 starts, Garrett Cole is 10-2 with a 2.85 ERA. He has been very, very consistent.
And the starters for the Pirates are on a historic run. The last 5 starts, and it all started with Cole's start against the Mets. Today, it's the Marlins, and it's the Pirates, the Fish, trying to salvage a game in this 3-game set before they head to New York, and they'll do it under the sun in Pittsburgh. Let's go places. By Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at floridacoasteq.com. By AutoNation, save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. And by H.H. Gregg, top brands, low prices, fast delivery. Gregg's got it. You got the riverboat out on the Allegheny. You've got Garrett Cole walking to the mound. The Pirates are looking for a sweep. They're looking for 6 in a row as they are hot. They're a game over .500 for the Fish. The Marlins at 18 and 29, 11 under, and they'll try to improve themselves today. J.M. Lexus brings you their starting lineup. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich in this ballpark. And as Tommy pointed out, he had his first career homer here, and it was against Garrett Cole. JT Realmuto, Adeiny Echeverria still having a fine season. He's had a nice series defensively. And in the 9th spot, it's Brad Hand. There's a look at the UCLA right-hander, and he's a big one, 6'4", 230, Garrett Cole.
Yeah, he got it all started, Rich, when the starters started to put together that strikeout run. But Garrett Cole, last time out against the Mets, 8 1/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. He walked just 1 and had 10 strikeouts. You're right, he's a power pitcher. He goes at you. He'll go upstairs with 4-seam fastballs, not afraid to do that. He'll mix in breaking balls, occasionally a changeup, not too many. But the 24-year-old is a good one, and he's having a good year.
Pittsburgh's defense. Clint Hurdle has some moving pieces out there. It's brought to you by BMW.
Yeah, they've made a few changes. Marte, McCutchen, Harrison, no change in the outfield from last night. Jung Ho Kung is at third base. Jordy Mercer's been solid at short, starting to hit a little bit better. Neil Walker, how about Sean Rodriguez getting the start at first base? And Chris Stewart does the catching today.
Dan Jennings trying to get a win and then head to New York for a weekend series against a hot Pittsburgh team in a really hot rotation led by Cole, who goes to work against D. Gordon. A fastball up, pitch a penny brings you that first pitch. And we're underway on a bright day, even though there's some clouds in the sky here in Pittsburgh. Gordon, Prado, and Stanton. And Gordon lashes one to left. Marte towards the line is there and makes the catch. And there's one out. And that brings up Martin Prado. Last night, the Pirates 5-1 win. Jeff Locke took the baton from the rest of the rotation and went 5 2/3 shutout innings. And the Pittsburgh rotation in their last 5 starts, 5-0 with a 1.06 ERA. As I mentioned, it started with Cole and his 8 1/3 innings with 10 strikeouts against the Mets. Jeff Locke in the dugout.
He kind of continued the trend, not the strikeout trend, but he continued the winning trend from those starters.
A.J. Burnett, part of that rotation.
Yeah, the Pirates, they'll head out to San Diego. They play a 4-game series starting tomorrow night in San Diego. So they'll keep that rotation. Hopefully they keep it going the way they want.
And it's Burnett that gets the start to open that series. And of course, in Marlin history, A.J. Burnett in San Diego is, at least it should ring a bell. That's where A.J. threw his no-hitter.
Same town, different ballpark, but same town.
Prado fouls it into the glove of Chris Stewart. Cole has his first strikeout, and here comes Giancarlo.
64 strikeouts on the year for Garrett Cole. He's averaging more than 1 an inning. If there's anything that he might do wrong, and there isn't a whole lot, at times, because of his aggressiveness and his power nature out there on the mound, at times he'll get a little ahead of himself. But he's made some good pitches so far.
Now Stanton turns away from a ball. Giancarlo in this series, 3 for 6, a homer, a double, a spectacular catch. That fastball ran away, but it apparently caught the plate. Rob Drake is the home plate umpire.
Giancarlo with good numbers against Cole, 3 for 5 with a home run.
He caught plenty of the plate. Stewart kind of pushed it away when he made the catch. On the ground, Mercer across the diamond in time, and Garrett Cole works quickly. Just 9 pitches in that first inning. into downtown across the Allegheny. The Bucks are hot. Jan Lexus brings you their lineup. Josh Harrison, a bundle of energy in the leadoff spot. Jordy Mercer starting to perk up. Andrew McCutchen, co-player of the week in the National League. Starling Marte's having an all-star type season. Jung Ho Gung is at third base. Neil Walker, Sean Rodriguez to start. Chris Stewart, the catcher. Garrett Cole is in the 9 spot, and Brad Hand on the mound, his first start of the season. And for Hand, through no fault of his own, and he's pitched well in this role. He's been short man in the bullpen, working about an inning at a time, and he's looked good doing it.
You know, Brad Hand, Rich, has fallen into that category the last couple of years as a very good insurance policy. He's a left-hander. He's just 25. He can throw 93, 94, a couple of good breaking pitches. We've seen him work well out of the bullpen. The last time he pitched, he got a nice double play, 2 quick outs against Baltimore.
Three and one. Harrison, Mercer, McCutchen. See Hand in his career. Center field, that's pretty well hit. Room out there for Ozuna. And on the track, he makes the catch. 399 to straightaway center here in Pittsburgh.
Rich, let's see what BMW has for the defense for the Marlins on this afternoon where the sun kind of is coming in and out. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Prado, Echeverria, D. Gordon, and Justin Bour around the infield. JT Real Muto. I would imagine because of the day off tomorrow, Real Muto's in there this day game after the night game.
Jordy Mercer, Pirate shortstop who has slumped this year, but lately has started to come around. He's got 3 hits in the series, and Clint Hurdle wants him to be the everyday shortstop. He's very good defensively. Last year, Mercer hit .255 with an on-base of .305 and a .387 slugging percentage. It was his first full season as the everyday shortstop. Nice play by Hand to get up in the air, get the ball, and get the outs. He was a great hockey player in Chaska, Minnesota. He probably fooled around on the basketball court as well.
Yeah, nice job, good reactions, and he took his time once he grabbed that chopper. Brad Hand has pitched here before, 1 start against the Pirates in his career, and it was at PNC. Went 6 1/3, gave up just 6 hits and a couple of runs.
Andrew McCutchen. .44 games for McCutchen. The last half of those games, he's been dynamite. Starting in early May, he turned back into the MVP, which he was in 2013. He was 3rd in the MVP voting behind Giancarlo Stanton last year. And he was terrific. .410 on base, .542 slugging. His .952 OPS, that's on base and slugging, led the National League.
Well, you just knew when he hit 194 in April that for a guy who's hit over 300 each of the last 3 years, you knew that sooner or later he'd start to put things together, and it seems like he has.
Out of Fort Meade, Florida, he has done some incredible things for baseball in this city. At a fly ball to right, Stanton is there and he makes the catch. Well, Brad Hand said, okay, it wasn't 9 pitches, but 12 will do. A nice first inning for the lefty.
Joe West, the umpire, came over here, and this little glass that we had is creating some kind of a glare. And so the umpires now are putting some towels over that, is creating a glare somewhere for the on the third base side. But we're going to talk a little third base coaching. Talk about Lenny Harris, who I talked with before the game. Lenny with a big smile said he really feels like he's part of the game now. But the biggest adjustment to coaching third, as opposed to when he did it in the minors, when he did some managing, was that in the minors, as a manager, you come up with the signs yourself. You manage and coach third base. Here, there's that delay process. You got to get the sign from the bench and then relay it. And there's a little bit of an edge there to try to get it to the player as quick as you possibly can. But he said he got a lot of people on Facebook either texting him or on the internet saying, "Are you nervous? Pressure?" You go, "No, this is great." He said, "I've been watching guys throughout my 18-year career very closely. Some great third base coaches." He said he's excited to have the opportunity, and he can't wait to start waving them in, guys.
He needs some more company. Let's be honest,
Yes.
Craig. I mean, yesterday he was a lonely guy, wasn't he?
Maytag repairman over there.
Yeah, he did say Jung Ho Kung doesn't speak a lot of English either.
Justin Bohr is up. Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich to follow. Garrett Cole delivers, and Bohr cranks one to right.
Goodness.
That's deep and gone. Justin Bohr gives Miami a 1-0 lead. And truth be told, in the break, Tommy Hutton turned to me and said, "I like Justin Bohr against Garrett Cole."
Well, he's a power pitcher. It looked like he hit a breaking ball, though. But he's not going to get that slow curve or a lot of changeups. And he's going to challenge Justin Bohr. And this looked like what was probably a slider. It stayed up, and it was absolutely mashed by Justin Bohr. He's got unbelievable power.
Third home run for the big slugger out of George Mason University. And here's Marcell Ozuna.
Rich, a couple of notes on Lenny Harris about him coaching and watching and observing. Lenny, the all-time pinch hit king, 212 pinch hits. He had to observe, he had to learn and become a really good pinch hitter. He also, when he was on the bench, watched guys like Rich Donnelly and Tim Flannery, a couple of guys he thought were the best third base coaches. So he's watched and observed a lot.
Ozuna, slow dribbler. Mercer bare hands and gets him at first. AT&T Uverse Rewind. Christian Yelich, this his first career home run against Garrett Cole back in 2013.
Well, it's one he'll always remember, and an opposite field shot as well.
Yelich has 3 hits in this series. His average up over 200 now. And he drives that one to left, hits it pretty well. Marte going back at the warning track, reaching for the wall, leaps, and did he get it? He got it. Marte didn't show it initially, and then casually pulls it out of the glove, and he robs Yelich of either extra bases or possibly a home run up against the wall.
And how about that? Possibly another opposite field home run against Garrett Cole. Great timing. The ball had home run distance. Marte didn't want to show anybody for a while. And finally, he displayed that he had caught the ball. Again, Yelich hits a ball well, robbed by Starling Marte.
You know, as an announcer from this distance, you watch the outfielder, and most guys will turn and show the ball or react as if they've made a big catch. Marte kind of played it off like he didn't have it. It's a great play and a tough out for Yelich, who continues to swing the bat well. Real Muto bangs one to the left of Gung, who gets it and throws him out. Well, Marlins barreled up some baseballs that inning. One of them leaves the park. It's Justin Bohr, and it's 1-0 Miami. Homer and a 1-0 lead. The 2015 Esurance All-Star Game ballot is available. You can vote 35 times for your favorite player at Marlins.com, on your computer, on your tablet, on your smartphone, and I believe on your Apple Watch. Help select starting lineups for the 2015 All-Star Game. Vote today at Marlins.com.
Get that voting. You want to see Giancarlo start that game. You want to see D. Gordon start that game. And put some votes in for Adeiny Echeverria, who's having an all-star first half.
Starling Marte at the plate. Echeverria and Gordon up the middle have the most hits of any double play combo in baseball. Tell you what, there's a chance Starling Marte is going to be in Cincinnati at that all-star game. That catch he just made, with a terrific catch, but he's doing damage this year. 9 homers, 11 doubles. He's driven in 30. His slugging is over 500. He's at 512. And Hand gets a strike. 1-2.
So one thing, when Brad Hand is in the strike zone, he changes speeds very well. And that certainly helps him with his success out there.
I think if Miami gets 5 innings out of Brad Hand, they will be ecstatic.
Absolutely. Because he hasn't been stretched out, he hasn't thrown a lot, because all of his appearances, all 14 games, have been out of the bullpen.
Bouncer to third. Prado across the diamond, and it's in time. The last time Brad Hand went more than 2 innings was back on the 12th of April.
There's a look at the arsenal of Brad Hand. He's got the 2-seam fastball, his curveball. He'll move the 4-seamer, and a good changeup, the circle change. You see the grip he uses on that.
Jung Ho Gung, the Korean third baseman, takes a strike. Gung has terrific numbers so far this year, and Clint Hurdle's been able to plug him into a few infield spots. His slugging is in the mid 400s, 453, with a 383 on base percentage. So he's getting on base and he's doing damage.
You know, if you pushed Clint Hurdle, he would probably lean defensively toward Jordy Mercer, shortstop. But he told me the other day he's not afraid at all to get Kung in there at short or third base as he's playing there today.
I know sometimes you throw out stats and people need a reference point. The league average last year in the National League, batting average 251, on base 314, slugging 386. So if you're up in the mid 400s, you're doing some damage. You're up in the 500s, you're really having a great year. Bouncer to short, Echeverria sucks it up and fires across.
And those numbers, Rich, that you mentioned, those were down from a number of years.
Yeah, that's a great indication of how tough it was to hit last year in the National League and the American League. And here's Neil Walker now.
When you see those numbers and the averages and how they've gone down, it's always impressive when you see hitters who just continue the same. It tells you how good of hitters they are and how consistent they are. Guys like McCutchen, even a Neil Walker in his area, he's been very consistent.
Neil Walker has doubled and homered in this series. He is a switch hitter, though he does most of his damage with the long ball as a left-handed bat. Last year, 23 homers, 21 of them came as a left-handed hitter.
That's pretty good production out of a second baseman.
There are his splits this year. That one in the air. Gordon drifts back. Stanton comes in. And Stanton calls off Gordon. Those two have a really fun relationship going on right now. Big G and Little D. 1-0 Miami. Lead. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Beautiful PNC Park in Pittsburgh, some overcast. The bright sun above occasionally peeking through. A lot of sunglasses not only on the field but in the stands.
Yeah, it's one of those days the sun's in and out, so you have to be prepared as an infielder and outfielder and always have those glasses ready.
Cole throws a strike, and it's 1-1. Echeverria 1 for 6. That hit a double in this series. His average still over 300. He's facing a guy that was the first overall pick in 2011. Breaking ball is a strike, and Echeverria was frozen on it. Cole certainly has a well-stocked arsenal.
Yeah, that was a good breaking ball, and when he starts throwing that consistently, he's exceptionally tough. Yeah, Garrett Cole out of UCLA. Probably have his eyes on the regional that the Bruins are hosting coming up. Bakersfield, Maryland, Ole Miss in that regional.
Brad Hand now getting an at bat. D. Gordon asked to move by the home plate umpire Rob Drake. Gordon, I don't know if he was too far behind the plate. I don't know if Cole asked him to move. He's in the on-deck circle now.
I think one of the interesting things about Garrett Cole, you know, we usually see phenomenal, gaudy numbers of pitchers in college. And at UCLA, he was 21-20 with a mid-3s ERA. He was developing.
That's a great point. And with a high fastball, he finishes off Brad Hand. You can enter now for a chance to win a trip to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game on Fox for you and up to 3 of your friends. Upload 2 photos at foxsports.com. Fantastic All-Star now through June 3rd. One of the great packages this year in the fantasy auction is a trip to the All-Star game in Cincinnati. Not only do you get 2 tickets, airfare, hotel accommodations, but you get into all the really cool stuff. The Fan Fest, the home run hitting contest, the celebrity softball game. I believe you get into the futures game as well when pulled foul. And all of those events, of course, in 2017 will be in Miami. A lot of the Fan Fest and stuff leading up to the game will be out on South Beach. Gordon, fastball up and in, fouls it off. Cole has 3 strikeouts first time through. A Justin Bour home run in the second, the only hit. But remember, Yelich was robbed of what looked like a home run. Gordon, little line drive that just gets over Gung and into left field. D. Gordon's got a hit, and certainly he's a threat to run here.
D. Gordon has a 6-game hitting streak. I think the perception, because he hit so well in April, is that he's really tailed off. D. Gordon came into this game hitting .330 in the month of May. And so good to see this one get over the head of Gung. Seems like a lot of line drives by the Marlins have found gloves in this series.
Now Prado, we'll see how long Gordon is anchored at first.
I don't think he's going to wait too long.
You got a big power pitcher on the mound. Chris Stewart throws very well behind the plate, and Gordon dives back.
I think the reason you don't want to wait too long, you want to give Prado an opportunity to possibly drive him in if D is successful.
Stewart is the better of the 2 catchers at throwing out base runners. He has caught 7 of 14, which is outstanding. Cole a little deliberate in his move to first. Not running, a check swing at a breaking ball, and Joe West says it's a strike.
That's one from the naked eye. I don't think it was, but we'll get a better look.
Well, Martin Prado shot him a look. It's close.
Either way that one goes. I don't think it's a swing, but you see it go either way.
There goes Gordon. Pitch is taken for a strike. Stewart's throw. He's safe.
Shows you how professional Martin Prado is and how secure he is in hitting with 2 strikes. He saw the jump that D. Gordon got, knowing that if he took this, he'd have 2 strikes on him, but he'd have a chance to drive him in.
I'll tell you what, this was a great throw by Stewart. You see how quickly he got rid of the ball, and that throw is right on the bag on the first base side, and Gordon still stole it. And so he has the lead at 19. It's been a tough stretch for Billy Hamilton the last few weeks.
Well, Billy Hamilton has actually been dropped out of the leadoff spot too.
Yeah, he was hitting 9th.
Yeah.
The Reds had their pitcher hitting 8th the other night. Tough though for Prado. He had to take that pitch, and it put him in the hole 0-2. And he sits at 1-2 with 2 outs.
When he's taken a couple of nasty sliders too, just off the plate.
And that slider was the one that Cole really utilized to get Met hitters to chase in his 10 strikeout performance against the Mets. That was a not a swing, but a pretty good looking pitch. Very close. 2-2 to Prado. Soft tapper to short. Mercer just gets the out. Marlins leave that runner at second, lead it 1-0. for our pledge packs for the fantasy auction, which is June 3rd. For $150, you get all of this. You get the Legacy cap, which is fitted, a D. Gordon authenticated autographed baseball, Tommy Bahama drink coaster recipe cards, a Christian Yelich gold glove replica, dry fit Fox Sports shirts. To check it out, you can go to marlins.com/pledge packs, and to order, we'll drop a phone number in here for you. You can order right now. There are operators standing by. Sean Rodriguez is up, and it lifts it foul and into the seats. Here's the phone number. It's 305-480-2550. 305-480-2550. Every dollar that we raise, Fox Sports Florida, for the Marlins Foundation goes to South Florida youth, Little League teams, Christmas presents, all of those things that baseball teams do. That's how we support South Florida youth. We're very proud of here at Fox Sports Florida of the event, and we hope that you'll be watching on the 3rd, and that's a way for you to participate. As long as well, if you've got the big board items and the small board items to bid on as well. We'll have details of that when we get to New York on Friday night. Meanwhile, D. Gordon has been kind enough to sign 200 baseballs for those pledge backs. A Miami product at the plate, Sean Rodriguez. Chris Stewart, Garrett Cole facing Brad Hand.
Yeah, Rodriguez making his 3rd start at first base. As we know, watching him with the Rays over the last few years, he's very versatile.
And he will be used in a lot of different spots. We've seen, as you noted, at first base. He's been through that before with Joe Madden and the Rays.
Notice Brad Hand working out of the stretch with nobody on base.
Echeverria, oh my goodness, he's not going to get the out. That was an incredible play. First a skidding slide to get the ball, and then somehow popped himself up, and spun as he threw as he rolled over.
How do you even get the ball out of your glove, a grip on it, and make a throw after making that play? Echeverria did all those things, just came up a little short. So Rodriguez breaks an 0 for 12 with that infield base hit, but a great effort by Echeverria. Yeah, I noticed first batter of the inning with Rodriguez up there, Brad Hand was working out of the stretch. Obviously he's in the stretch now.
Maybe he's trying to carry over that success he's had in the bullpen. He's found a nice niche and a nice groove in that pen. This is Stewart, backup catcher, and a major league veteran who's played in a variety of spots. A 33-year-old. Spent a couple of years with the Yankees before arriving here in Pittsburgh. Giants, Padres, Rangers, and White Sox also on his big league resume. Little tapper up the middle. Gordon shovels. Echeverria turns, and it pulls Bohr off the bag. Rodriguez with a hard slide got a piece of Echeverria. Bohr tried to stay on the bag. Let's see if he succeeded.
Brad Hand does a good job staying away from that. The flip, a pretty good one. It's just good base running, and he got there quickly. Sean Rodriguez. Man, it just did pull Justin Bohr off the bag.
I think the Marlins are looking at this right now, and that's why Brad Hand has stepped off of the rubber, and the Marlins are going to challenge this. I think Dan Jennings is out. Here's another look. See if the foot stays on when the ball hits the glove. Wow, that may be.
And then DJ stepped back in.
Yeah,
hit the dugout.
Dan Jennings came out, now goes back in. Once again, you need to, as Joe West came over and asked Brad Hand to toss the baseball out. Once again, this early in the ball game, it's got to be definitive. If you're going to challenge, super slow-mo, ball in, foot. You can't tell still.
You can tell if his toe is still on the bag, yeah.
And that's the determination that you have to make as Cole's bunt goes into the dugout. Would the umpires in New York overturn that? Cole trying to bunt, pulls it back, and takes inside.
Now you forget with Brad Hand, when he first arrived to the Marlins back in 2011, 21-year-old, had that great debut, but took a 1-0 loss to the Atlanta Braves. Went 6 innings, gave up a solo home run, the only hit he allowed. Alex Gonzalez. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts.
Stewart the runner at first, and Cole lifts one in the air over Echeverria into shallow left, and it gets by a couple of Marlins, but Rodriguez, or rather Stewart, had scrambled back to second. Pirates have their second hit of the inning. Runners first and second, 1 out. Now the top of their order coming up.
Yeah, that's the tough part now. You got the top of the order to deal with. Ball kind of on the hands, but Garrett Cole gets enough of it. It had that knuckling effect. Probably why it was squibbing around on the ground and got by Yelich as well, but no harm.
Now Josh Harrison. Harrison, an RBI in the series, doubled with his 2 hits. He's 2 for 9. I'm not sure what the prototype leadoff guy is anymore, whether it's just a guy with a high on base. Obviously a win-win would be a guy with a high on base who could steal a bag.
And a win-win-win. High on base, steal a bag, maybe go deep once in a while.
Haven't been too many of those. Maybe Ricky Henderson,
Bobby Bonds,
Tim Raines. That roller out towards Gordon. A lot of speed with Harrison. At Echeverria's turn again. Ball off the bag. Whether they get him or not, I'm not sure. Cubs and Marlins on Monday. It starts June at 7:10 on that Monday. All you can eat: canned beef, Frank's, peanuts, popcorn, nachos, Pepsis, and Aquafina for just $30. All first responders with ID receive complimentary tickets on South Florida Heroes Monday, presented by Outback.
We've seen a couple of things that we haven't been used to seeing this year, and those are throws just a little offline from Echeverria on not easy double plays, not routine double plays, but double plays that should be turned.
Well, the danger now is Pittsburgh was outstanding with 2 outs in yesterday's ball game. They had just a slew of 2-out hits. In fact, in this series with 2 outs, they've driven in 6 runs and are hitting .304. Harrison's speed on one corner. You've got the catcher Stewart at third base. Mercer fouls it at the plate. But not only does it fail to end the inning, getting those outs at first, but it pushes Brad Hand's pitch count up to 44 pitches. And as we talked about, he may not have a lot left in the tank in terms of being stretched out. Maybe 75, 80. This is away. That's 1-2. One thing Brad Hand did this year, he said, to change his routine. He found himself when he was in the pen last year going long stretches without throwing and not knowing when to throw because he might be needed to pitch 4 or 5 innings. But he decided this year every other day to have a bullpen session regardless of what happened. And he's going to get out of this if this one is caught. Nice job by Brad Hand overcoming those 2 throws. Yelich makes the catch. The Marlins hang on to a 1-0 lead.
City of bridges here in Pittsburgh. We're on the Clemente Bridge. There are 446 bridges in Pittsburgh. That's more than any other place in the world with the exception of Venice, Italy. With all the ravines, the rivers, the countless hills, this city would be crippled without its bridge system. These 3 are very famous, the Sisters Bridges, the only trio in the U.S. that are nearly identical, one after another. The further one is called the Andy Warhol Bridge, named after the famous artist. Then you have the Rachel Carson Bridge, a naturalist here, and then this one, the Clemente Bridge, 1818, 1859, and 1926. These bridges go back a long way. They were wooden then, they've been redesigned, and they're all colored in this Aztec gold, which is the fourth bridge system in Pittsburgh, black and gold. Aztec gold, pretty nice, and a great sight when you come to Pittsburgh, guys.
Thank you, Craig. I'm curious to know where the Terry Bradshaw Bridge is.
Yes. Should be the Rocky Blyer Bridge. That's a bridge.
They're very nice.
Somewhere.
Stan hits an absolute rocket. Gung, an outstanding play to get it and throws him out.
One of those series we've seen Gung just a little bit. He's been impressive offensively, defensively. This is a do-or-die play because this ball is screamed down there by Giancarlo. There's a pick. Once he picks it, he has plenty of time for the out.
Yeah, with emphasis on the die part. That is not fun as a third baseman. And here is Bohr now, who blasted one up into the seats above the 21-foot wall in right field. And he takes in. Was that 21 feet? Another tribute to Clemente. Bohr is the 5th George Mason draft pick to play in Major League Baseball. He's the only active player from George Mason. Played college ball with his brother. And he smacks that one into left center field. Boy, is he looking good at the plate.
He sure is.
And around first, he'll hold there. I'll bet he's looking forward to seeing the Cubs, too. Bohr, a Rule 5 draft pick, minor league Rule 5 draft pick out of the Cubs organization.
Fastball away, that's something he works on every day, taking that pitch into that area. The home run, he hit a slider. So right now, Garrett Cole's trying to figure out how to pitch to Justin Bohr. who's done most of his damage against right-handers. He's just 1 for 4 against lefties this year.
Here comes Ozuna. It's tough to name the other 4 George Mason products in the big leagues. A couple I recognize. Mike Colangelo and Mike Draper I don't recognize. Chris Widger, a catcher, and Sean Camp, a right-handed pitcher. Those are the 2 that I recognize.
Not to be confused with the widget.
No,
Widger.
The pitch tracking widget.
Pitch tracking widget.
He was a pitch tracking widger, actually, because he was a very good defensive catcher. That pitch got behind Stewart, but Bohr couldn't, from his vantage point, see how far it went. It didn't really go that far. I told you, Stewart throws very well. Ball in the dirt. Count is 2-1. Garrett Cole last year was on the DL a couple of times for a strained lat and shoulder inflammation.
We're getting we love getting confirmation. We love the crack staff helping us out. Getting word that Chris Widger caught the major league debut of Carl Pavano
as a Montreal Expo.
Yeah.
Saw Widger in Seattle for a spell. And strike 3 called, and Ozuna didn't have a gripe. Marlins will travel to New York tonight. They have an off day tomorrow, and on Friday open up a series against the Mets. Matt Harvey awaits, and our South Florida Honda dealers present Marlins Live. Dan Herron, Matt Harvey. Christian Yelich has been hitting it hard. He's starting to get some hits through. He hit a blast to left right in that corner down the line where it gets a little deep. But Starling Marte made a Starling catch on it. Yelich sends that one to center field. McCutchen goes back, and he's at the track. Yelich has hit another one well, and is 0 for 2. Marlins leave another runner still in Pittsburgh. It's 1-0 Fish. Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub. Pick yours. By Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us.
We love to get details. Rich, looking further at the Carl Pavano, Chris Widger battery. It was a game against the Phillies. Pavano pitching for the Expos. Expos won 3-2. Pavy in his debut, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, and no decision. Schilling pitched a complete game. Widger had a couple of hits, and way to go, Pavy. The game was played in 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Who else was in that lineup?
Well, you had Vidro and Vladimir Guerrero, Rondell White. Phillies had Rolen, of course, in their lineup. Bobby Abreu.
McCutchen, Marte, and Gum. Into left. And McCutchen has a hit. There are just 10 days left before the FIFA Women's World Cup begins. Alex Morgan leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their 3rd World Cup title. The only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox, and Fox Sports 1. And it begins in 10 days. I saw a picture of the set that they've got designed for all the studio shows up in Canada. Looks pretty sweet.
We'll be in Canada soon. We'll be in Toronto.
We will. I haven't looked at the schedule to see if there are any World Cup games going on while we're up there.
Yeah, the Marlins come home, of course, for that 3-game series against the Cubs. Just a short homestand. But then off to Denver and Toronto.
See, Tommy, you should be working that event. You have a nephew that's played at a high level of soccer.
That's right. I could get some insight. My nephew with the Arizona United. Spent some time in the MLS with the Red Bulls. He would be the first to admit that I know nothing about soccer, though.
True, but many times as a broadcaster, you have received a yellow card.
Many times.
Occasionally a red card. Pitch to Marte. Club to left. Yelich in, makes the catch. And that one was hit right on the nose. Starling Marte. McCutchen, who's been dancing from first, is still there. And here comes Jung Ho Kang, sporting an 8-game hit streak.
A couple of little things you have to look at when you're using a starter that hasn't pitched a lot lately. You have to keep in mind how the outs are, and there have been a couple of balls hit hard here. The one by McCutchen and the one by Marte.
There is a ton of afternoon baseball across the big leagues today. Miami here in Pittsburgh finishing a 3-game set. The suddenly hot Pirates have won 5 straight. Marlins have a 1-0 lead right now. Korean third baseman Jung Ho Kang battling Brad Hand. McCutchen still at first. And Hand misses away. Of note, in the early games, one runaway game, Cleveland has already scored 10 runs and has a 10-0 lead over Texas. It's only in the bottom of the 4th inning. Josh Hamilton is 0 for 2 in that ballgame. He's still looking for his first hit of the season. He's in left field and hitting 5th. Boy, McCutchen was sure that Hand was coming to first. But you're talking about an experienced base stealer. He darted back to the bag and literally was standing on the bag when it got to home plate.
So that tells you he has not figured out the delivery of Brad Hand. So if he goes, he'll probably just go on first movement.
Oh, late swing there by Gung.
By the way, in that Texas series, Prince Fielder just telling Josh Hamilton, don't worry, I got you covered.
Phillies and Mets are underway. Solo homer by Lucas Duda. And it's 1-0 Mets in the second. Runner goes. Good jump. Pitch is taken. Real Muto's throws. Not in time. That's stolen base. Real Muto, I don't know if he didn't have a grip, but he didn't come out of it cleanly.
Yeah, it took him a double clutch. I don't know if he gets him right there. And when I mean first movement with a runner, because he doesn't have the move or delivery figured out, as soon as Brad Hand moves, he takes off. And if he goes to first, he hopes he doesn't get picked off.
Shift is on for Gung. 3 infielders on the third base side. Swings and misses at a pitch that hits him. He's out. The ball is dead. And that's a benefit certainly for the Marlins, because the ball ended up back at the screen, and McCutchen would have been at third. And I don't know that Real Muto catches this if it doesn't hit him.
Well, you know, I've seen that before. I couldn't tell you when, but you don't see it too often. A hitter swinging and missing at a pitch that actually hits them. First strikeout for Brad Hand.
I'll tell you the last time you saw it, and neither you or I agreed with the call.
Oh, yeah. Now I know.
And that was
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo and Reed Johnson.
Yeah, and Reed Johnson, the next hitter, took his place. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
He has made an amazing recovery from what was a catastrophic injury, right? I mean, the emotional and psychological scars that hitters have sometimes can really affect a career. And I know Stanton is not having a great year in terms of average, but I mean, he's blistering the baseball right now. He's got 42 RBIs and 13 homers. And as you said the other day, he has said he still doesn't feel like he's really got it rolling. To left, and it hangs up for Yelich. Tell you what, Brad Hand has been everything the Marlins could ask for and more. It's 1-0. This is, of course, where they filmed The Dark Knight Rises, the last of the Batman movies that have come out. And the bad guy in that was Bane. And we've spotted him, and he's He looks an awful lot like David Phelps with an oxygen trainer on.
Yeah, just thinking about it, it was not a very good appearance for the Mets' Dark Knight here in Pittsburgh in his last outing.
No, it wasn't. The football scene, remember, that was kind of a creepy one down at Heinz, right down the street. JT Realmuto, Danny Echeverria, Brad Hand against Garrett Cole in the 5th. Realmuto knocks one into center field. That's a base hit. So a leadoff hit. You've got Echeverria, then you've got Hand. Miami's run is a Justin Bour homer to right. Though they have hit the ball well against Cole. Yelich had that ball at the top of the wall stolen by Marte. Stanton hit that seed at Gung.
Yelich also took one to straightaway center field to the warning track.
Echeverria was called out on strikes in the 3rd. And he takes breaking ball out.
Those are the two pitches, the slider and the curveball, that Cole continues to work on, just to get a little separation and difference in the velocity.
Speaking of the Dark Knight, he rises on Friday in New York.
He'll rise up against Dan Herron. Got the Dark Knight against the laid back SoCal guy.
Echeverria knocks it foul.
We talked earlier, Rich, about the last 5 games. The starters going 5-0 for the Pirates. ERA a little over 1. The last time the Pirates did that with an ERA a little over 1. I always love the names. You look back, it was in 1977. Bruce Keeson was one of the starters.
To right, starting back is Harrison. Now he comes in and makes the catch.
Of course, in the day of 4-man rotation, John Candelaria won 2 of the games. Jerry Royce, left-hander, and Jim Rooker were the 4 pitchers in that rotation that went 5-0 and had an ERA just a little over 1.
Jerry Royce would go on to have a broadcasting career.
As did Jim Rooker here in Pittsburgh. Bruce Keeson we see scouting. He's a major league scout. See him a lot.
Hand trying to bunt Realmuto up, and that thing rolls foul. D. Gordon on deck. Inning open with a JT Realmuto single. Hand kind of pops it up and it lands foul. He's got one more shot. We'll see if he takes it. One thing he does have, Realmuto, very athletic and not only has good instincts, but pretty good foot speed.
Yeah, if you're up there in a sacrifice situation, you always appreciate it if the runner at first has a little speed. That helps you out.
But he misses, and that would be a strikeout. Our Geico Major League Baseball moment. The Cincinnati Reds retired Tony Perez, number 24. The Hall of Famer played 16 of his 23 seasons with the Reds, 4 NL pennants, 2 World Series titles.
Had a birthday earlier this month. Always good to see Tony Perez at the ballpark.
Realmuto is running. Pitch is taken. Stewart's throw, and he's in there. I told you he can run, and he surprises a lot of people with his speed. Stewart's so quick on the release. That time the throw was just on the third base side, and that allowed Realmuto to sneak in there.
You know, that's his first stolen base, but he's going to have a lot more. I mean, that's a great example of the speed and athleticism of JT Realmuto.
And not a bad time to run, too, when you've got Gordon at the plate. If he's thrown out, Gordon's leading off in the 6th inning. Gordon bunts, third base side. That's a beauty. Gung is going to hold it, and everybody is safe. Here comes Prado now. And so for Gordon, it's his 2nd hit. Prado 0 for 2 now, gets a shot, a chance to increase this 1-0 lead.
There are sometimes I'm not a big fan of that, but in the case of D. Gordon, it doesn't matter. He's a bunter. That's part of his game, and it's also tough with the outfielders playing shallow to score a runner. So by dropping down the bunt, he extends the inning and gets Prado to the plate. If you're a hitter who has gap power, home run power, it's not a good play. But if you're D. Gordon, good play.
So Prado now, a couple hits in the series, 0 for 2 in this one. Realmuto and Gordon on the corners. Martin Prado throughout his career has very much been a contact guy. He does not walk a lot. He's walked just 7 times this year. And in that 2 spot in front of Stanton, the odds of him walking are reduced even more. Prado taking a shot at that right side, and he fouls it back.
There's an example of that 95-mile-an-hour fastball with Stanton looming in the on-deck circle.
What'd you think about starting Gordon? 2 strikes.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all.
Not running.
Because it's Gordon, you even wonder if Stewart, the catcher, would throw through.
Especially with Realmuto and his speed at third. Of course, Prado has tried to shoot 2 balls to that right side, and that's the benefit of having him still at first base. You've got Rodriguez holding the runner.
I think what the Marlins have uncovered, not bad to first base, not a bad move, but not real quick to the plate. And just Garrett Cole.
Despite having a premium catch and throw guy in Stewart. And Gordon is running. A swing and a miss by Prado, and he strikes out. Garrett Cole, after giving up the Justin Bour homer, has been tough. 1-0 Miami.
Peaceful day, lots of boaters and fishermen with the Allegheny overlooking the beautiful city of Pittsburgh. Back in 2004, we're going up here about 12 steps. There was a big storm. Hurricane Ivan wreaked havoc all up and down the East Coast and also here in Pittsburgh. And they noted it with this plaque of the flood line coming all the way up from the Allegheny to this spot here at PNC Park, wreaking havoc with the area. It also canceled the Pirates-Mets series here then at PNC. Guys?
Having walked around downtown Pittsburgh and run down along the river, that is amazing to think that the water came up that high. Sean Rodriguez deep to center. Ozuna goes back and he looks up and it's off the top of the wall. And the Miami product is in with a leadoff double to open up the fifth inning. That one almost got out into Miami's bullpen, which is active, by the way.
Yeah, we saw Rodriguez breaking 0 for 12 with an infield base hit in the third inning. This time he jumps on a first pitch, hammers it, just misses the home run. And just like that, for the first time, the Pirates start an inning with a runner in scoring position. This, by the way, is a great city to walk around in or jog, with the bridges, with the bike paths, the paths they have along the river. Fantastic.
Agreed. Stewart takes inside. The only regret on this trip, and I ran along the river by the confluence.
Did you get down by Heinz Field?
Well, no, I was actually on the other side, the city side.
Okay.
And I looked over at the incline, which is those great little cable car type things that go up the hill. And
great restaurants up there.
I would have liked to have taken one yesterday, taken the incline ride up. It feels like you're in a James Bond movie when you're on the incline. Stewart fouls it off. The count's 1-1. You got Garrett Cole on deck and Sean Rodriguez at second. Miami a 1-0 lead. Brad Hand an emergency start, backed up by just about everybody in the bullpen with a day off tomorrow. And so far Hand has been able to venture into the fifth inning.
This is a case where Clint Hurdle probably, yes, he'd like Stewart to get a base hit, but if he moves the runner over to third, he's got a pitcher who swings the bat pretty well. Cole got a base hit his first time up. Has his average in his career around 200, has 5 hits this year.
Two and two. Stays at 2-2.
If you just kind of capsulize what Brad Hand has done in his short career, I mean, he's out of the bullpen, he started some, but if you go back to last July, he made 6 starts, he was 2-2, he had an ERA of 2.70. So there have been periods where he's been very, very solid.
Out to second, and Gordon gets the out, but Stewart chases the runner to third. Here comes the pitcher, Garrett Cole. Our Toyota trend. The PNC Park has been a rather lopsided series, and in the last 11 games, look at the Pirates and their domination from wins to runs and starters ERA. Those are the big numbers. Miami's infield's going to come in. If you're Clint Hurdle, you've got Josh Harrison on deck. Cole had a single back in the third.
And you also have to make yourself aware of a possible squeeze. I don't know if Clint Hurdle would put that on here. Yeah, the Marlins 16-30 in their history in this ballpark. It's been a tough place.
So infield's up. Cole takes a swing and a miss.
In this situation, Rich, you almost have to manage it as if this is the 8th inning and see what happens if Brad is able to get Cole.
That one fouled off.
With the righty warming up, if Dan Jennings makes a move to go ahead and have the right-hander pitch to Harrison.
Harrison's 0 for 2 against Hand, but Brad Hand trying to get Garrett Cole first. Cole is a good hitting pitcher, very good athlete. He has 5 hits this year and has averaged just over 200. 0-2 coming. And you can see by that swing, has a little bit of pop, fouls it off down into that right field corner.
And it looks, Rich, like the former Pirate Brian Morris is ready if needed. That's a pretty solid swing for a pitcher.
I wonder whose swing was better at UCLA. Was it Garrett Cole's or Jeff Conant's? He got him. A swing and a miss, and a backswing that hits Real Muto. And once Real Muto is hit with that backswing, he didn't need to dig it out and tag him out. The play is dead. T-Mobile game changer. Josh Harrison last night, 2 for 4, double, RBI, 2 runs. He made that wild catch in right field. His 13th multi-hit game of the season, and he's up right now. As you pointed out, a decision to make.
This is a tough one. It's not an easy one. It's one that you want to get him through 5, maybe give him a chance to win the game. But on the other hand, Brian Morris is ready.
So Harrison against Hand, and ball 1. Got another right-handed bat in Mercer beyond Harrison. Josh Harrison out of Cincinnati. Raised in Cincinnati, went to the University of. Swing and a miss. His uncle, a guy that you played against, John Shelby.
T-Bone Shelby.
He was second in the National League in hitting last year to Justin Morneau. And you know what? Last year he was one of the best with runners in scoring position. He hit 372 in a spot like this last year. Little tapper, and it's a fair ball, and Real Muto captures it and tags him out. Good heads up by the rookie catcher, and Brad Hand gets through the 5th and leaves Rodriguez at 3rd. 1-0 Miami.
Today, and we're just beyond the right field wall here at PNC Park on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Now, you talk about the confluence. Well, there it is, just where that fountain is. The Monongahela, the Ohio River, and the Allegheny. Only 25 players have ever hit a baseball into the water here beyond the right field wall. 3 on a fly, Darrell Ward the first in '02. Then later Garrett Jones did it, and earlier this year landing in a boat, Pedro Alvarez. No Marlin has ever hit the ball into the water. 2 have Marlins connections. Cliff Floyd is a member of the Cubs, knocked one into the Allegheny in 2007. As we mentioned, Garrett Jones not only on a fly, but 3 others on a bounce into the Allegheny. Rich?
All right, thank you, Craig. And that is a poke. Giancarlo Stanton against Garrett Cole here in the top of the 6th inning. 1-0 Miami. Stanton takes in. He hit a bullet right at the feet of Jung Ho Kang in the 4th, and then bounced to short back in the 1st. So 0 for 2 is Stanton. We had emails and tweets last night, and one of the questions was, is it harder to hit a ball into the Allegheny or into McCovey Cove? And by a great deal, it's harder to hit it here into the water than it is in San Francisco. A lot more splash hits in San Francisco.
There's a lot more space behind the bleachers there to the Allegheny.
See what Stanton gets. 3-1 against Cole. Slider, and he chased, and that's been a real good pitch for Garrett Cole. Justin Bour was homered and singled, is on deck. And then you've got Ozuna in the 6th for Miami. And Stanton takes a fastball. Looked like he was thinking slider. So there's 1 out. Fish Family, the exclusive loyalty program of Marlins fans. And on every telecast on Fox Sports Florida on the road, you can get your Fish Family bonus code. Pittsburgh is your bonus code. To learn more, log in. Go to marlins.com/fishfamily. Here's Bour now. And Bour drives it center field. McCutchen a few steps back, and he's there and makes the catch.
Didn't get a chance to get it out, but Justin Bour has the capabilities of finding the Allegheny.
Without question. In fact, the ball that he hit up into the seats, if it didn't hit the seats, the trajectory, since it was on a line and still had much more carry to it, you never know. It may have been able to get to the river if it hadn't hit whenever it hit. Because it was, it got out in a hurry, and if it didn't hit something, it was still going someplace.
Might have knocked one of those guys out of a kayak.
Ozuna takes away. For Marcell Ozuna, just a couple of hits in this series, but it has extended his hit streak to 7 games. A little ground ball out towards second. Neil Walker gets it, and Garrett Cole goes 1-2-3 in the 6th. 1-0 Miami. Marlins with the lead. Every Friday is a Marlins Flashback Friday brought to you by Dodge. And this Friday, the Marlins will be in New York to take on the Mets. You can post the best vintage Marlins photo of yourself using the hashtag #FlashbackMarlins. A photo will be selected and will be featured in the post-game show. That would not be a vintage photo.
But it's a nice look.
It is a good one. Very relaxed.
Boy, after the really solid 5 innings for Brad Hand, gave up just 4 hits, no runs, no walks, a couple of strikeouts. Brian Morris takes over. Of course, Brian started last year with the Pirates in 21 games, was 4-0 for Pittsburgh before being acquired by the Marlins, where he went 4-1 with an 0.66 ERA. So he certainly has pitched here. He's had success here.
Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutchen, Starling Marte. Morris lands right in the 2-3-4 spot. And the Pirates order and swing and a miss by Mercer. BMO, as his teammates call him, out of Tullahoma, Tennessee.
And he'll certainly give the Pirates a different look from the lefty hand.
His dad pitched in the Twins organization. Morris was a first-round pick, 26th overall by the Dodgers in 2006. And he was involved in a trade with a lot of teams and a lot of parts and some big names. A 3-team deal. The Pirates got Adam LaRoche from the Dodgers and Morris. Brandon Moss. Boston getting Jason Bay from Pittsburgh. And the Dodgers got Manny Ramirez from Boston. Swing and a miss. Down goes Mercer.
Brian can kind of condense it and just say, I was traded for Manny Ramirez one time.
Here's McCutchen now. He's popped out and single.
And by the way, Manny Ramirez couldn't have hit that slider that he just threw. That was a good pitch.
McCutchen takes a strike. One of the best things Andrew McCutchen did this year was not on the field. It was the article that he wrote about the hurdles that minorities have in getting to Major League Baseball. It was a terrific piece, and it talked about when he was a youngster growing up in Fort Meade. He was a football player first, because for him it was the quickest way to get to professional sports. He was offered a baseball scholarship, but it wasn't a full ride, and he didn't have the money. That went into right field. Stanton is over, and he makes a running, diving try. Lost the ball, and McCutchen pulls in at second base. Stanton, angry with himself, in the gap, full out, had it until he hit the ground.
Yeah, we saw Giancarlo last night pick one off the wall in right field. You come to just assume he's going to make that catch. And as soon as he hit the ground, that's when the ball popped out. Yeah, he's upset, but it would have been another spectacular catch. Look at the extension. But as the glove hits the ground, that's when the ball popped out.
So McCutchen gets a double, and Morris sets his sights on Starling Marte.
Rich, getting back to that Andrew McCutchen article, our own Preston Wilson has made some of the same points.
Yeah, the point that was made by McCutchen was if he didn't get injured and he hurt himself at football, and if the Pirates didn't offer him that type of money, he would have not chosen baseball because of the financial hurdles. Bouncer to third, and Prado goes across the diamond and gets Marte. It's an interesting read. Check it out. Just Google Andrew McCutchen. I want to say it's on the Derek Jeter website. The Players Tribune, I think it's called. PlayersTribune.com. Go ahead and read it. From Andrew McCutchen. It was published in mid-February. Jung Ho Gung. Gung lines that one foul into the seats. Gung has really shown the Marlins and everybody else in the National League that the transition for him from the Korean League to the National League Central hasn't been that big a jump. Talked about his on base and slugging. 383 on base, 450 slug.
Well, we know he'll chase pitches. Remember, he struck out on a ball that hit him last time up back in the 4th inning. So let's see what Brian Morris does now that he's gotten ahead 0-2.
Popped him up. Real Muto tosses the helmet, then the mask. Whoa! And snow cones, but holds. Brian Morris pitches around that McCutchen double, and Miami still has its 1-0 lead. Nothing. Marlins on top of the Pirates. Sweet rentals at Marlins Park. And you can do it for just one game. Groups from 16 to 70. Offers upscale contemporary furnishings. Features great food and beverage options. 1877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com/groups. Here's Christian Yelich. Now, we talked about Yelich against Garrett Cole, his first Major League homer here 2 years ago. He nearly had another one. He was robbed of Starling Marte on a marvelous catch. His next at bat, he blasted one to center. Andrew McCutchen ran it down right in front of the 399 side on the warning track. Real Muto. Echeverria also to follow. Yelich spun around. Two Southern California kids here meeting in Pittsburgh. Garrett Cole, Orange, California. Yelich, right field. It's deep. It's gone. You bet he's swinging the bat better right now. 2 bolts and nothing to show for it. So he yanks one up into the seats and gets his 2nd home run of the season and gives Miami a 2-0 lead.
And you bet he picks up Garrett Cole very well. With his first major league home run, hit the ball well all 3 times today. You can also bet they may have run across each other in Southern California. Christian's 23, Cole's 24. But this one, a no-doubter. Both the home runs, Justin Bour and Christian Yelich, have been no-doubters.
Breaking ball, a strike to Real Muto.
And that's something you love to see Yelich do, turn on a ball like that and hit it to right field the way he did.
Another hit for Real Muto, a solid line drive to left. He had a liner into center for a hit in the 5th. And maybe Cole is wearing down a bit here in the 7th inning. Pirates bullpen is not active yet. Here's Echeverria. And then you've got the pitcher spot. Right now Donovan Solano is on deck.
Well, the pitch count still pretty reasonable for Cole, closing in on 80. It's only the 2nd time, Rich, I'm just looking back quickly, only the 2nd time all year that the Marlins have homered twice in a game, and Stanton was not one of them. The only other time was back in April. Echeverria and Michael Morse homered in Atlanta.
Well, we had that note earlier in the series of how Stanton leads all of baseball in percentage of his team's homers hit. He was well over 40%. So maybe this takes a little heat off him. Ichiro with a pat on the back to Yelich. Echeverria beats that throw to first. Real Muto is erased. And here's Solano.
Boy, now you have a really good, it depends on the count, how everything goes, but you have the ultimate hit and run situation if Dan Jennings chooses to go that route. But yeah, it's good to see, to get the production without Stanton involved. The Marlins need that.
Up the middle, Mercer flips it, Walker turns it, and the inning is over. But Miami gets another run just like they got their first one. Solo homer, this time it's Christian Yelich. hit up in those right field seats here in Pittsburgh. D. Gordon. You like him? You love him? Well, you know what? You can get a D. Gordon autographed baseball and a lot more in our fantasy auction pledge packs. $150. Every dollar goes to South Florida youth. You can look at them by going to marlins.com/pledge packs, and you can order one right now. 305-480-2550. 305-480-2550. We'll post that number up in a moment. You can vote as well for your favorite All-Stars. The Esurance ballot is out at marlins.com. And guess what? The first National League voting just came out moments ago. D. Gordon leads.
I like it.
For National League second baseman.
Keep voting.
Giancarlo Stanton is third. That puts him in the outfield right now. And Gordon is a very comfortable lead over Colton Wong. D. Gordon, as far as overall votes, is fourth overall.
That's terrific.
Behind Bryce Harper, Matt Carpenter, and Matt Holliday. That ball's trouble. It's down the line. It's hooking, and it's foul. And that was close. Neil Walker almost had his second homer of this series.
Well, Mike Dunn can take a deep breath. Yeah, the last 5 outings for Mike Dunn have been very good. Last couple in particular. But if you look at how they've been spaced out, he just hasn't had the consistent work over the last week. This is just his third appearance. So he'll just take that as a long strike and say, okay, it's an 0-2 count.
Walker, Rodriguez, and Stewart against Dunn. D. Gordon out, Marcell Ozuna in. And Ozuna makes the catch for an out here in the 7th. Let's throw up the pledge pack number for those of you just joining us. Today we have those on sale. See Mike Dunn's numbers. His 20th appearance. There you go. 305-480-2550. Operators can answer questions and get you a pledge pack for this season. Swing and a miss. The Marlins legacy caps, a fitted cap. You have your choice of black or the red orange, which is very popular.
See a lot of the red orange caps at the ballpark in and around Miami.
The D. Gordon autographed baseball is authenticated by Major League Baseball. We thank D. Gordon for signing 200 of them, donating his time.
Well, that was in between his interview duties, interviewing Echeverria.
Hope you saw that last night and today on Marlins Live. Gordon stealing a camera yesterday,
showing us his reporting skills.
Swing and a miss. Mike Dunn finishes off Sean Rodriguez with a nasty breaking ball. And there are 2 outs here in the 7th. Brad Hand started this ball game. 5 shutout innings for Hand. Brian Morris pitched the 6th, and he kept the Pirates off the board. And now it's done. And it really now for the Marlins is down to the bullpen. And the Marlins could not have asked any more of Brad Hand. The emergency start. He had not been able to pitch into the 3rd inning in any of his relief appearances since early April. So to come out and give the Marlins 5 innings, 5 scoreless innings against a hot team, that's very nice.
74 pitches, didn't walk anybody. That was impressive. And we talked about it at the very beginning of the game, that this would be, because of the day off tomorrow, all hands on deck. A little bit of a bullpen game. It's working out that way, and so far so good.
Into center field, Chris Stewart has a 2-out hit. And he holds it first. brings up Jose Tabata. You know, the rest of the National League squad right now in the first ballot tally. The outfield, the leading vote getter is Bryce Harper. Matt Holliday is second. Giancarlo Stanton is third. In the infield, at third base, Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta of the Cardinals at short.
A lot of Cardinals because Cardinal fans turn out. They sell out every day. And there is Cardinal Nation.
D. Gordon at second base as Tabata fouls it. Adrian Gonzalez of the Dodgers, very deserving leader at first. And the slim down Yadier Molina behind the plate. Who would your catcher in the National League be right now?
Well, certainly don't have a problem with Matt Carpenter. He's having another solid year. Matt Holliday is always going to do what he does.
Off of Gordon. It lands in shallow center. That was a seed from Tabata. That's going to be a base hit. And it brings up Harrison with 2 outs here in the 7th.
Well, you have to think about Buster Posey not having a typical year, but still having a pretty good year. It's a tough play. It gets shielded somewhat, plus the ball was scalded by Tabata. Wilson Ramos of the Nationals, I think, having a pretty good year. Last time I checked.
Derek Norris of the Padres. Not a bad year. Dan Jennings on his way out. Miami's bullpen is ready. And as we noted, in a bullpen game with a day off tomorrow, everybody is available. Sam Dyson coming out of the pen here, and he'll take over for Mike Dunn. Josh Harrison awaits Sam Dyson with 2 on and 2 out. Wes Kendall called to the bullpen. Straight. They've been getting incredible starting pitching. They got a solid start in this one. Sam Dyson in for Miami. But it's the Marlins who have a 2-0 lead on solo homers against Garrett Cole, Justin Bour, and Christian Yelich. It's been Brad Hand, Brian Morris, Mike Dunn, and now Dyson that so far have kept Pittsburgh off the scoreboard. And the electric Josh Harrison stands in. Chris Stewart, Jose Tabata at second and at first respectively. Dyson, who throws that heavy hard sinker, misses in.
You know, he'll mix in his slider, but we also see that heavy sinker and the power changeup used to success. Giancarlo in right field, as he has all series, he gives anybody that line and plays well into the gap, because he can get to the line because it's not real deep and hold anybody to a double.
Dyson with a count 1-1. In, and it's 2-1. Very nice crowd here in Pittsburgh for a 12:30 start. In fact, this crowd looks bigger than the crowds we had on Monday and on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they had weather day here. A lot of kids.
Into right, and Stanton has to go over towards the line to collect it. Pittsburgh's got to run. Stewart will score. And Josh Harrison gives the fans here something to jump around about. It's 2-1.
It's one of the reasons he's so good with runners in scoring position. He doesn't do a whole lot, doesn't want to do too much, stays back, finds the opposite field. And the guy they call Jay here gives him something to cheer about.
Jordy Mercer scheduled, but it looks like it's going to be the big bat of Pedro Alvarez who gets the call.
You're Clint Hurdle, you know you can make this move and you're going to have the matchup in your favor. The Marlins have just the two lefties, Brad Hand, who started, and Mike Dunn is out of the game now, so anybody that comes in is going to be right-handed. So you make this move knowing that Pedro Alvarez is going to face a right-hander.
Marlins have D. Gordon way out in right field. Harrison, good speed at first. Jose Tabata, the tying run, 90 feet away. And Dyson's pitches in. We talked about home runs into the river. This was Alvarez, and this is into a little boat. Not the Jim Brockmeyer gondola, but right into the boat. Alvarez up right now. 1-0 pitch from Dyson. And that misses.
We've seen the full shift put on with Alvarez, but with a runner at first, also a runner over there at third. You can't go completely with the shift, so the only man on the right side of the infield playing very deep is D. Gordon.
And that ground ball is through the shift. Ozuna picks it up. The Pirates have tied it. Alvarez went against the shift, and despite moving the infield, Pittsburgh has put together another two-out rally, which absolutely killed the Marlins last night. The two-out hits. They get 4 consecutive two-out hits.
Well, and the big key for the Pirates in this inning, they've gotten 2 hits from their pinch hitters, Tabata and now Alvarez.
Here's McCutchen. Dyson misses in. Miami's bullpen active. Now the crowd is going, and McCutchen, their hero, their leader, who was 2 for 3, digs in.
This is why you don't pay too much attention to relievers' ERAs. Dyson's given up 2 hits, but both runs are charged to Mike Dunn.
Good fastball, 95. And it's 2-1. Well, it's a battle of the bullpens now. Hand went 5. Morris done. Now Dyson. Garrett Cole, the starter for Pittsburgh. Oh, it's a dangerous pitch here. 3-1 to McCutchen. He lost him. McCutchen walks. Bags are loaded. And Dan Jennings is on his way out to get Sam Dyson. It's Chuck Hernandez. My bad. Jennings and Hernandez were both on that top step, and it's Hernandez who comes out. And obviously he's not out to get Dyson. Dyson's going to stay in the ballgame.
Rich, we just haven't gotten used to seeing Dan Jennings in a uniform.
Carter Capps is in Miami's pen and is loose. Here's Marte.
Right now, that's the pitch he's having trouble getting over. Breaking ball.
Mike Dunn got the first 2 outs of this, the 7th inning. Chris Stewart, a solid single to center. Remember, the Tabata hit was a hot smash up the middle. It kicked off of Gordon. Harrison delivered a run with a liner to right. And then Alvarez one to left. And a big rip by Marte. So he cut loose on 2-0. Here's the 2-1.
Well, you know right now, if you're Starling Marte and you've watched Dyson struggle with the breaking ball, the count's 3 and run, the bases are loaded, you know you're going to get heat. It's going to be good heat, but you're going to get it.
A Pirate at every base, 2 outs, tie game. 3-1 pitch. And a bouncer up the line and foul.
And it was 96 miles an hour.
Maybe a bit of a confidence boost for Dyson. Jung Ho Gung, Korean third baseman, is on deck. Runners on the way with 2 outs, the 3-2. It's low. And the Pirates lead it. Two hits and 2 walks, and this time it is Dan Jennings. So Miami, who has battled all day with a 1-0 lead, and then Christian Yelich's homer made it 2-0. Coughs up that lead here in the bottom of the 7th.
Boy, that's just a shame. It wipes away the wonderful memory of a nice 5 innings from Brad Hand, a couple of solo shots. There's still time, a couple of innings, but tough for the bullpen today.
strikes. Couple hits, couple walks, and now Jung Ho Kang with Carter Capps in relief. And Capps throws a strike. 96 miles an hour.
Kang might not be digging in. Last night, Capps hit him on the elbow on that pad. Then got out of the inning, but they hit him with about a 96 mile an hour fastball.
He dials it up to 98. Into the bat, flips it down the right field line, and it's foul. Grant had 5 scoreless innings to open the ball game in an emergency start. Brian Morris handled the 6th. Mike Dunn got the first 2 outs in the 7th and then gave up 2 hits. Sam Dyson took over. Josh Harrison, Pedro Alvarez, both with RBI singles, and then a walk to Andrew McCutchen to load him, and a walk to Starling Marte to untie the game. Counts 1-2. Alvarez, the runner at third, was dancing way down the line on that last Capps delivery. Into right center. That's a base hit. Alvarez scores. McCutchen scores. Jung Ho Kang.
He stays with that fastball. It's up middle, out over the plate, and we have been impressed by Jung Ho Kang in this series. Hits that ball really hard and puts the Pirates up 5-2.
A 5-run inning for Pittsburgh. They have batted around Neil Walker for the 2nd time this inning. And Capps misses away. Here's a 1-0. In the air, shallow left, Yelich in. Sunglasses blazing, makes the catch. And a long inning comes to an end for the Fish. 5 runs for the Pirates. In that inning, and the Marlins 2-0 lead is gone. Friday's starters brought to you by Chevron. Heron Harvey, Matt Harvey, Dan Heron. Marlins and Mets, 6:30 start for Marlins live 3-game weekend series. And for the Marlins, they've got 2 innings to try to get back on their feet here against a pretty good Pirates bullpen. First out of it is Tony Watson. And as odd as this sounds, Garrett Cole's in line for the win. He was having a great time in the dugout watching the Pirates bat around and put 5 runs up. All the 2-out hits for the Pirates.
And Rich, Clint Hurdle showing off his versatility. A lot of changes for the Pirates. First and foremost, Tony Watson, the new pitcher.
D. Gordon runs up to bunt and takes in.
Harrison comes in to play third base. Jung Ho Kang moves over to shortstop. Mercer moves to second base. And Polanco comes in to play right field.
Gordon sneaks a ground ball to the right side and has himself another hit. So 3 hits for Gordon as he leads off the 8th with a hit. Neil Walker, who is still at second, made the dive but didn't really have time.
D. Gordon with his 9th 3-hit game this year.
At the top of the order, so you've got Prado, Stanton, and then Justin Bour. Marlins held that 1-0 lead from the 2nd into the 7th. Bour's homer started it, and then Yelich hit a home run almost the exact same spot and made it 2-0. But now Miami is down 3. Martin Prado to left field. Marte makes the catch. Gordon tags and holds there. Stanton now. Stanton 0 for 3. Watson at 94 miles an hour gets a strike. A ball and a strike. Marlins saw an inning's worth of Watson Monday night.
Well, you and I were still talking about that ball that Stanton hit off Locke last night, that double down the right field line on a breaking ball.
Went off the bat at over 107 miles an hour, just under 108. That one is pop fouled and back into the seats. One and two. There's no doubt that the Pirates are hot. Fueled by their starting rotation. They get 7 innings and 2 runs from Garrett Cole. Cole didn't walk anybody. They struck out 7. Watson strikes out Stanton. So here comes Bour with 2 outs.
just not a lot of opportunities for Justin Bour against lefties. He's 1 for 4, so he's only had 4 ABs against left-handers. All of his damage has been against righties. He can get an opportunity here. And I think what will help him, obviously the more he sees left-handers, that helps a little. But if he stays with that approach to find some shots into the opposite field, in the left field, left center.
Marcell Ozuna on deck. Top 8. Gordon, a leadoff single. Bour's home run was not a towering shot, but a bolt that almost appeared to still be traveling up when it hit about 10 rows up, and those bleachers way up in right field. 2-1. His single was a line drive out to center. He flied to center his last at bat. Two and two. And he got him. Tony Watson retires Miami in the 8th. It's 5-2 Pittsburgh. Clemente Bridge. H.H. Gregg, high-def highlights. Brad Hand in an emergency start was splendid. The 25-year-old out of Chaska, Minnesota. 5 innings, 4 hits. You see the line, he struck out 2, didn't walk anybody. And for Brad Hand, he was in line to win this ballgame. Miami had a 2-0 lead. And Hand was sitting in a spot to get a win. But the Pirates rallied against the Marlins bullpen with 5 runs in the 7th. Vin Mazzaro is in now.
We saw Vin Mazzaro, first game of this series, former Pirate, did a nice job. Came in, pitched the 7th and 8th inning. Gave up a couple of hits. That's about it.
Sean Rodriguez, the hitter, and he swings and misses. Rodriguez struck out back in the 7th. In that 7th, the ill-fated 7th, if you will, Mike Dunn got the first 2 outs, and then it all fell apart. 2 hits off of Dunn. Sam Dyson didn't retire a hitter in the 4 that he faced. 2 runs charged to Dunn, 3 runs charged to Sam Dyson. Carter Capps gave up a 2-run hit to Jung Ho Kang, but he was not charged for a run. And here's Mazzaro. Mark Melancon, closer for the Pirates. They were 3 outs from their 6th consecutive win. And Rodriguez goes down swinging. So an out here in the 8th. MLB.com Ballpark is the app. If you're a baseball fan, perfect complement to your visit to Marlins Park or any major league venue. Maps of the ballpark, menus. You can order food and even have your game tickets right on your mobile device. Check into the Ballpark app with special offers and gifts. MLB.com Ballpark app. Download it today. This is Stewart, who is 1 for 3. As well as the Pirates are playing right now, a chance to win 6 in a row. The Marlins are obviously at the other end of that and can't seem to pull out of this tailspin. They dropped 10 of 12 coming in. So a loss here would drop them to just 2-11 over their last 13 ball games.
This was a game that, boy, if the Marlins could steal this, because you came into the game and you looked at the numbers and it didn't look too good. I mean, Pittsburgh had won 5 straight. They had Garrett Cole on the mound. They were 6-0 in day games this year.
Stewart sends it to center. Ozuna's waiting there, and he makes the catch. Of course, the Marlins are headed into New York to face the Mets. They get Matt Harvey on Friday night.
Boy, the Mets 7-0 lead right now against the Phillies. Lucas Duda having a big day. A couple of home runs. Daniel Murphy 3 for 3 has his average up to 281.
Noah Syndergaard homered in that ball game.
Noah Syndergaard also 3 for 3. So he's having a big day.
And he's gone 6 shutout innings.
Yeah.
That is a big day. Gregory Polanco, who came into that double switch. And he fouls it off.
Oh, Petey having a good day for the Red Sox, even though the Red Sox trailed the Twins. But Dustin Pedroia, a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. Hanley continues to struggle. He's at 252. Big Papi hitting 217.
It's not Big Papi.
It is.
Pitch misses in. The Reds are at home, but they are trailing Colorado 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th. Marlins will see Colorado next road trip. Polanco, right field. Stanton looks up off the top of the wall. The bounce is over. Stanton and Ozuna pick it up. And Polanco's on his way to third. He gets a triple. That's about as far as you can hit it to right center here and not hit it out. The top of the wall in that right center corner.
I think Giancarlo tried to decoy Polanco a little bit, and then the ball bounced back a little further than he thought. But you're right, that right field wall kind of juts out, as you mentioned earlier, 21 feet high. Polanco thought he had it, or was caught, because he slowed up a little bit, but easily was able to cruise into third.
And so it's Harrison now, who's had some big hits in the series, including an RBI single in the 5-run 7th. Just sits the bat out on it. Ozuna comes charging in and makes the catch. Marlins are down 3, headed to the 9th. Mark Melancon, the closer's coming in. By Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by H.H. Gregg, top brands, low prices, fast delivery. Gregg's got it. Downtown Pittsburgh, the Pirates have kind of reclaimed their territory in this sports mad and great sports city. They've done it the last 2 years by getting to the postseason, winning 94 games 2 years ago, 88 games last year. And the Marlins are kind of feeling the brunt of a resurgence here this season. Pirates on the verge of winning their 6th straight, putting them 2 over. Big crowd here in Pittsburgh today. And the Pirates closer, Mark Melancon, is on as he tries to close it out.
Yeah, Rich, the Pirates also trying to regain their territory in the National League Central. Came into play today 6.5 behind St. Louis, behind the Cubs. Cubs are 4.5 out. But all of a sudden the Pirates are making themselves known.
Here now is Ozuna. You got Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto against Melancon, who offers a variety of pitches, most of them strikes. Melancon, a very dependable setup man before he was given the closer's job here. 11th save on Monday, and he retired all 3 that he faced against Miami. A good month this month. His ERA well under 1. He zips in a strike. 1-2. Tommy enjoying Pirate names from the past in this series. He's one behind Stan Belinda on the all-time closer.
There's a right-hander out of the past.
Melancon's got 60. Belinda's got 61. I'm assuming who's the all-time leader? Is it Tekulve?
I would have to say Kent Tekulve, yeah.
Let's get to work and find out.
Rich, our work never ends up here.
No, I mean it's ninth inning, but you still got to push forward.
How about Dave Justy?
That's a good name.
He was a good right-hander.
Yeah.
They didn't rack up saves in volume. I mean, I know Jacoby wasn't back in the 70s and 60s. He was late 70s, right? And early 80s.
Yes.
Up the middle off the end of the bat, and Ozuna is out. Checkers presents Marlins Live.
How about Kent Jacoby with 158?
Thank you.
Dave Justy 133. He's third. Mike Williams, a surprise second visitor.
How about Joe Table on that list? Jose Mesa.
Jose Mesa
is fifth. Joel Hanrahan is between Gusty and Mesa. Matt Capps, Stan Belinda, and now Melanson trying to tie Belinda. Not the go-go, but the reliever. Yelich has hit it hard all day long. He's just 1 for 3 with a homer. He shoots a ground ball to third. Harrison gets him. And there are 2 outs here in the ninth inning. So what looked like it had the makings of a real nice Miami win, all of a sudden on the verge of a sweep, a 3-game sweep by the Pirates. And the Marlin woes continue here in Pittsburgh. And not one of those games where you can pin it on starting pitching either. Brad Hand, 5 shutout innings and an emergency start. And the Marlins had a 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 7th. Real Muto, bouncer to shorts. Gung kicks it. And Miami is still alive. Probably an error. It is. E6.
Hey, he's trying to surround it, pick it, and throw all in one motion. He'll be charged with an error.
There's Echeverria, who's 0 for 3. Ichiro is on deck. Marlins would like to get him to the plate in this inning. And to left, that's a base hit. Echeverria keeps the inning alive. And up comes Ichiro now. It's 5-2 Pittsburgh. 2 outs, 9th inning.
This is where you'd like to see Ichiro set Melanson up and get that middle in fastball and turn on it. There's a good swing by Echeverria. 53 hits on the year for Etch. And you know what, coming into the game, you look at Etch's splits, hitting over 360 on the road. So much better on the road this year.
Melanson's given up a couple homers this year. Of course, Ichiro's hit just the 1. Oh and 1. Real Muto and Echeverria at second and at first. Melanson crowds him. After Ichiro, D. Gordon in the top of the order. Gordon has 3 hits. A ways away from Stanton. You've got Prado after Gordon and then Stanton. Melanson trying to close it. Miami trying to keep it going. 4-2. Ichiro stays alive. 41 is Ichiro. (2,876 hits). Just gets a piece.
And in a real nice neighborhood with those hits. Residing just beyond the bay. Ty Cobb in the area. Omar Vizquel. It's a great neighborhood.
It is. Melanson. Ichiro, little dribbler. Melanson has it, gets the out, and the Pirates get their sweep. Pittsburgh is rolling. They've won 6 straight. And Miami's struggles are continuing.
Well, I read
in Pittsburgh.
I read a note today, Rich, excuse me, but 27 games now, the Pirates have scored 4 or more runs. They're 22-5.
Marlins Live is next.